Good morning, America. How are ya? Kevin Clark here. I'll be your host today on Decision Making 2020. For those of you who are undecided, or for those of you who are thinking about it, I just thought I'd put up a real quick one here. Trying to get our feet back on the ground. Spent the last 20 hours driving back from Florida. So the last couple days, been a little wild. Mechanical failure, this, that, and the other thing. Haven't really been paying much attention to any news. But I would like to share something with you real quick. I'm going to do a special program tonight, so make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, because I know you're going to like this one. It's a quickie. It's easy. Everybody likes an easy quickie, right? Okay. Stick with me on this. I think I'm going to title this 55 Reasons to Vote Republican, in case you're wavering. These are 55 individual reasons that each one on their own would carry enough merit to vote for an individual to be your president, or to vote for him to be your president again. Now then, MS-13 or MSNBC and Clinton News Network or CNN and ABC, NBC, CBS, they all tell lies. They're all into propaganda. What they don't tell you is, I'm going to give you 55 reasons right now to vote Republican. Number one, these are the Trump administration accomplishments, all right? This is on Wikipedia. This is nothing that I've dreamed up on my own, okay? So you can fact check me, I hope you do. Because that'll be one more reason for you to vote Republican. God bless America. Almost 4 million jobs created since the election. More Americans are now employed than ever before in the history of our country. We have created more than 400,000 manufacturing jobs since my election. That's just manufacturing. If you've been watching for the last year, we've been averaging over 200,000 new jobs per month. 200,000 per month. Hello. Manufacturing jobs growing at the fastest rate in more than 3 decades. Economic growth last quarter hit 4.2%. New unemployment claims recently hit a 49-year low. Media household income has hit the highest level ever recorded. African American unemployment has recently achieved the lowest rate ever recorded. Hispanic American unemployment is at the lowest rate ever recorded. Asian American unemployment recently achieved the lowest rate ever recorded. Women's unemployment recently reached the lowest rate in 65 years. Youth unemployment has recently hit the lowest rate in nearly a half a century. The lowest unemployment rate ever recorded for Americans without a high school diploma. Thank you, President Trump. Under my administration, veterans unemployment recently hit its lowest rate in nearly 20 years. Almost 3.9 million Americans have been lifted off food stamps since the election. The pledge to America's workers has resulted in employers committing to train more than 4 million Americans. We are committed to vocational education. 95% of the U.S. manufacturers are optimistic about the future, and that's the highest that we've ever had. Retail sales surged last month, up another 6% over last year. Signing the biggest package of tax cut reforms in history after tax cuts over $300 billion pour back into the U.S. in the first quarter alone. $300 billion makes a difference, people. As a result of our tax bill, small businesses will have the lowest top marginal tax rate in more than 80 years. That's fewer than 50 employees, small businesses, okay? So the little guy finally wins. I don't want to hear about big corporation and Google, okay? AOC, Stuff it under your hat that you use for covering up your stupid little head. We helped win the U.S. bid for the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Hopefully we'll have a Trump in the White House during that time. Helped win the U.S., Mexico, Canadian United bid for the 2026 World Cup. Opened AWR and approved Keystone XL Dakota Access Pipelines. I paid $1.87 a gallon for gas day before yesterday. Keep on fracking, you frackers. And the main frackers keep fracking. I love having more energy, more gas, more natural gas, more oil than we need. Because we're not cow-tongue tied down to the Iranians now. Nowhere over the Middle East do they run our show because they have our oil. We got our own oil. You pick up your own pieces. We got this. Obamacare. Individual mandate penalty gone. So if you can't afford insurance, they don't charge you for it because they're giving it to the Mexicans, the illegals, free. Record numbers of regulations eliminated. What used to take 20 years to get approved to put in a new road is now taking 10 months. Now you wonder why your freeways, I know in Minneapolis it's antiquated, okay? 35W, north and south, 20 years antiquated. That's because it takes so long to get these permits passed. Not anymore. Alright. Enacted regulatory relief for community banks and credit unions. My administration is providing more affordable health care options for America through associated health plans and short-term duration plans. Last month, the FDA approved more affordable genetic drugs than ever before in history, and thanks to our efforts, many of the drug companies are freezing or reversing planned price increases. Well, it's about time. They've been gouging this ever since the Democrats have been running, which, last 12, 14 years? We reformed Medicare program to stop hospitals from overcharging low-income seniors on their drugs, saving seniors hundreds of millions of dollars this year alone. We signed the Right to Try legislation. We secured $6 billion in new funding to fight the opioid epidemic. We have reduced high-dose opioid prescriptions by 16% during my first year in office. A lot of people don't know how he grilled them Chinese for 2 years over the fentanyl, because they're the only ones that make it. So he said, you quit making it or you don't get a deal. China would never sign that trade deal if they hadn't bowed down to President or King Trump, whatever you want to call him. He's our president. But for you flaming liberals, yeah, King Trump got her done. He's getting her done. He's getting her done better than any Democrat ever has. That really pisses you off, don't it? I know. Used to be a Democrat. I know. Not no more. All right, he's increased our coal export by 60%. U.S. oil production recently reached an all-time high. Thanks again, you frackers. Keep fracking. And I'm not fracking around. Frack, frack, frack. Just keep on fracking. $1.87 a gallon for gas? I liked it. Got a whole tank. United States is net natural gas exporter for the first time since 1957. That was 62 years ago. I just happen to know that one off the top of my head. Why? I don't know. I crunched numbers. Or it could be 62. We withdraw the United States from the job-killing Paris Climate Accord, cancel the illegal anti-coal so-called Clean Power Plan, secured $700 billion in military funding and $716 billion for next year. These are old figures. $3 trillion is what we spent upgrading our military after Obama depleted it and gave all the money that was supposed to be going for the military to the terrorists, which they're still bombing us. They just bombed us yesterday with missiles that President Obama paid for. Thanks, Obama. Treason, treason, treason. Okay? You're guilty. It's death. We don't even have to give you bologna sandwiches. We put you in an electric chair before a firing squad. For what you've done to this country, I will pull the trigger. Got no problems with that. You're treason. All right? You stinking snowflakes really don't know how to vent, do you? All you can do is tell lies. Truth is, Obama was treasonous, and we're still getting bombed with military aid that he gave the terrorists. Death. It's the only thing he's good for. That's the only thing that would be equal and okay. As many Americans as he's killed, treason. Okay, nothing less. NATO allies are spending $69 million more on defense than since 2016. Processes began to make a Space Force the sixth branch of the armed services. This is an old article. It already has. It is now our sixth branch. Confirm more circuit court judges than any other new administration. 220 plus 2 Supreme Court. Thank you. Confirmed Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch and nominated Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Withdrew from the horrible one-sided Iran deal, which Obama got into with his cousins, who now have enough uranium to make a nuclear bomb, thanks to Obama. He paid for it. Billions of dollars. He gave them the green light on mining their uranium and getting it improved. Yeah, you can thank Obama for that. Did I say treason? Yeah. You know, a guilty treason verdict produces death. That's the death penalty. Did I say treason? Yeah, that's Obama. You know, it's really sad because instead of Obama, Obama, he was the bomber. All of his terrorist friends were bombers. If we'd had Colin Powell in there, this country would be singing a whole another song. And he'd have gotten reelected for all the right reasons, not because of his skin color, and he had a black following. Okay, that's the only way you can be as stupid as Obama was and get re-voted in. Because you could fool the white people that first trip, second trip it wasn't happening. Crazy. Issued executive order to keep open Guantanamo Bay. Protecting Americans from terrorists, the travel ban, upheld by the Supreme Court. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which they've been talking about doing for 50 years. Trump got it done. Withdrew from that horrible one-sided Iran deal. Again, treason. Concluded a historic U.S.-Mexico-Canadian trade deal to replace NAFTA. Reached a breakthrough agreement with Europe to increase U.S. exports. Imposed tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum to protect our national security. Imposed tariffs on China in response to China's forced technology transfer, intellectual property theft, and their chronicle abuse of trade practices. Called them on the rug. First president in the last 30 years that had the testicles to do that, or the intestinal fortitude. Balls, guts, call it what you want, okay? He took them to the mat and he won. Improving vetting and screening for refugees and switching focus to overseas resettlement. We begin building a wall. Republicans want stronger borders and no crime. Democrats want open borders, which equals massive crime. Now that was just on this list. They didn't say anything about prison reform and the thousands of people that got out early, 5, 10, 15 years early. Yeah, they've been talking about prison reform since Obama and Biden screwed it up and were unjustly jailing blacks for nonviolent crimes for long periods of time. He fixed that. He also struck down the Johnson Act, okay? The Johnson Amendment was put in place so that if you spoke of Jesus Christ and the Republicans in the same breath, you would lose your tax exempt status if you were a church. That ain't the case no more. Catholic, Methodist, Baptist, Lutheran, Jewish, Seventh-day Adventist. There's a few of them I know I'm missing. But they can all talk about Democrats, Republicans, or independents. They can talk about and show you scripture where it's right in God's eyes to kill babies while they're still in their mother's womb. I'm waiting for that scripture. In the comments, please. If you can show me where it's okay, I'll get off this bandwagon to get 1,000 black babies a day to quit from being killed. Okay, that's not okay. That's 1,000 babies a day that will never see a sunrise. Are you kidding me? Aren't you glad Ben Carson's mother didn't get an abortion? Aren't you glad your mama didn't get an abortion? Think about that, okay? 1,000, that's not counting all the babies, that's just the black babies. Black American babies that are being slaughtered in their mother's womb. Okay, they never get a chance to join a gang. They never get a chance to see any street violence. They never get a chance to see their mother or their father or a sunrise. They're killed before they're born. Some of them are taking them 9 months up until full pregnancy, delivering a baby in Virginia and New York, and then putting it to sleep or murdering it. Because they get $300,000 per cadaver. It's a cadaver at that point now, and it's worth $300,000 to stem cell research. Folks, we got to knock that off. I'm going to unload on Pelosi tonight. We're going to do a little skit. It's going to be a different type of podcast. Make sure you check it out. Hit your like, share, and subscribe button. I think I still got 3 weeks left of my 2 months in Facebook jail, so I can't go live on Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, if you tee him off, he'll stop your ads. He'll put you in Facebook jail. Last December, I used to get 2,000 hits a day on my Trump ads on Marketplace. But after I got into Zuckerberg and told him what an idiot he was for the way the Congress is trying to stop him from bringing the Libra forward, and they call him Zuckbucks and Zuckbuck suck, and they're just in his face with how stupid he is, I asked him, why do you defend these people? They're against you. They're not one of you. Okay? Or are you just like them and you don't care? You'll stab your own, you'll stab your friend in the back. What's the deal, Mark? Are you just like them? Or when are you going to wake up and smell the coffee cooking? Okay? They don't like you. You're a liberal, and you got more power than they do. And they want power. They're power grabbers. Don't you see? And so you want to show your power because you can't get nowhere with Congress by shutting down my little Trump ads? Are you serious? After I called you out, I went from 2,000 views a day to 20. That's called funneling. I have gone to school, and it was for computers, so I know what you're doing, okay? I know what Google's doing. I know what Facebook is doing. Conservatives, Christians, black conservatives, we're all being funneled. Our stuff isn't getting out. You're trying to stifle us, but you can't. It's an act of God. It's all moving in the same direction. And you liberals have been trying to stop God for years. That ain't never worked for you, and it never is, and it never will, and it never was, and it never will. Have a very blessed day. Don't forget to pray for our president. Zuck will get over his stuff as he gets old, or he'll grow up like Soros, just be old, ugly, mean, and trying to destroy the world like he's already doing a pretty good job. He's just doing a little more low-key than George Soros. That's another program. That's Antifa's, George Soros's people. Black Lives Matter, that's George Soros's people. AOC, George Soros. Nancy Pelosi takes a lot from him, but she's getting a lot more money from the drug cartels in Mexico than she is George Soros. She's kind of an independent now. Everybody, they're taking care of California pretty good. I don't know if they're getting 25, 50 million a year. I don't know what California's worth these days. They got a sanctuary state, sanctuary cities throughout. They release 100 convicted felons a day in LA that are illegal immigrants onto the streets instead of handing them over to ISIS. These are felons they're letting out. 100, okay? Back in my earlier days when I was breaking the law, I never got out for nothing. And now they got places in New York where you don't even need bail. If you're broke, they just let you go. I don't hear too much more about that. That was going on the first 2 weeks. They had about 3 or 4 people that were getting arrested 4 or 5 times a day. And I don't know if they finally suspended that stupid bill where you don't need bail or what they did. They're Democrats, you never know. But those are 55 good reasons. 56, he's against abortion. 57, Johnson, struck down the Johnson Act. 58, he's done the Veterans Choice Bill, where if they can't get you right in, you can go to outside help and get your surgery done. I've used that. That helped. 59, and the China deal is 60. So I guess that was 60 reasons to vote Republican. He's done 60 things no one else has ever been able to do. You have a blessed day. Like, hit, share, subscribe. And I'm going to put that skit on tonight with Nancy. I got to do it. She's such a